Hey, this is Paul here from RTB Limited, and I'm interviewing another female entrepreneur this week, Chrissy Morrison from My Turn Properties. Tell us more about you
Hi,
and yourself, Chrissy.
how you doing? I'm Chrissy Morrison, and I just started a new company about 3 years ago called My Turn Properties.
And what do you guys do?
So I started this company to flip homes, renovate, distressed properties, and put them back on the market. I
Awesome.
was a teacher. I was a teacher for 12 years. I taught high school math, and I decided it wasn't where I wanted to be and have my career in. So my husband Phil took me out to a place out in Vegas. I was like, yeah, Vegas. I was turning 40, and he's like, hey, take a look at this guy. He does mentoring for real estate investors, and I was like, all right, let's go out there, have a weekend. And I went out there and I totally got sold. I was like, I want to do this. I want to quit my job tomorrow and, start working towards financial freedom, working towards being home with my kids. I signed up for this guy's course and I did really, really good the first year. It was awesome. I flipped 8 homes. We did really good. And I was like, this is, great. You see this property and it's all distressed and then we make it all pretty. But just like the show, HGTV. And it's
Right.
totally not like HGTV at all.
Now you got hoarders in there and you got dead
Geez.
animals and squatters. I'm sure it's probably pretty bad.
I could tell you stories, which is hilarious. I had a raccoon chase me out of a house one time. It was like, I wish I had a video camera to show people that. And, it has been an experience. I've been on that roller coaster ride of flipping houses. And now in the 2018 year, I'm going down that roller coaster ride. So, things haven't been going my way. I've hit a couple bad contractors. Some of my properties have been on the renovation scale for way too long. And that gets a lot of holding costs, which kills, my profit. I've gone through 5 or 6 contractors in the past year. And I think that's the biggest problem in the business that I'm running. My Turn Properties came from me and Phil sitting down and I said, you know what, hon, it's time for me. It's my turn to make some money, and that just hit. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, he makes good money. And I'm like, I want to beat your salary. It's time for me to, stop contributing to $60,000 a year, which wasn't even take home as a teacher, to, try to triple that or quadruple that. I set my goals every year to do better and better. And, this business, he was just like, do it all on my own. And I've been doing it. And now my focus has kind of changed in the past 3 years. So I've flipped the homes, but people don't understand that you don't make money until you sell them. So if you quit your job, even if it was just like $4,000 a month take home as a teacher, it's still $4,000 a month that you have in your pocket. Now it's like $0 a month because I'm shelling out thousands every month, for holding costs, for rehab
Or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, and people don't realize it. So you have to supplement in between and try to figure out. So now my focus is, flipping multifamily. So I've been trying to purchase more multifamily and renting them out and getting that cash flow every month. And Phil and I have been doing rentals for about 5 or 6 years, maybe even longer than that. And now, since I'm not working, I'm now full managing our portfolio of rentals, which is great.
You take a management fee. You take a management fee out of that portfolio to pay yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So usually mostly it's usually 10%, right? Norm for management fees.
10% is usual management fee around New Jersey. Someone the other day told me, oh, I only charge 6%. I'm like, maybe I should hire you because I've never heard of 6% management fee.
Right.
I'm like, what do you do? Do you actually answer their calls, for 6%? But right now we have a small portfolio, so it's enough for me to manage. It's definitely a different career path that I wasn't thinking that I was going to do. But in the meantime, I still have 3 houses on the market, 2 houses that I'm still renovating. We just opened up another business that we're doing power washing.
You told me
so
about it.
It's supplementing. Yeah, you need the cash flow every month. And when you're going through these classes and these coaching, that's not something they really talk about. It's more, finding investors that are going to invest in your properties, which is great, and not paying the interest payments every month because you don't pay them till the end when you sell these houses. But now the market has gone down. My houses have been sitting for a couple months, and the winter months aren't the greatest time to sell houses. So you have a different focus. And I've been through so many ups and downs that, my focus is getting the cash flow every month. But I'm also one of those people that I want to help other people, get into this business. My main focus has been women. And I've had a lot in the last 3 years, a lot of women reach out to me on Facebook because when I was doing really well in 2017, the coach that I had also marketed me as one of his greatest coaching students, especially being a woman. And people reached out to me. Is it really, should I go for all that money to get this coach? And should I do it? And I'm like, yeah, it's worth it. Because for me, it was a lot of money putting out. But I talked to Phil, my husband, my kids, and I said, you know what? It's kind of like a different career for me. So it's like a college tuition. And it was like a college tuition to do the coaching. Mm-hmm. And, someone that came from a background of high school math, and that's all I knew was to teach high school math.
Core.
And
Common Core.
Yeah, Common Core is what got me out. I was like, forget it. It was all about the testing. And, we were reflected on how these kids did on the testing. And I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't have any fun. I had fun with these kids. It was a good time. Right. And I also got a master's in educational leadership. So I thought I would, become a principal or a superintendent or maybe eventually teach in college or something like that. So I think that teaching is that motivation for me. Mm-hmm. A lot of it, stems to that. In this new business that I started, Phil always says, you don't know what the real world is. And he's right. I mean, for 12 years of my life,
You were a sheltered child. Yeah. I'm not trying to diminish what you were doing. Obviously, you had a lot of responsibility teaching kids, and but it's difficult. You're not fighting and clawing for that money all the time. It's going to come in.
Right. It's it's that, and you're in this classroom from 7 a.m. till 4 p.m. You have to get somebody to relieve you to go to the bathroom. That's how crazy it is.
It's prison. That's prison.
It is. And, I have a group of
boss,
friends.
Shaking the tree, boss. Shaking the tree.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Cool hands, Luke. Yeah.
You are in not like a prison, because I did enjoy it, but it is a different world than I'm living in the past 3 years. It has been a different world, and feels like, welcome to reality, because, and I have a lot of teacher friends that I see it now. They don't understand a lot of what's going on in the world. It is like a 9-to-5 job, and you're done once you get home. For me, I wanted more. It was like always more. I always have that drive, that determination. Have I been successful the whole 3 years? No. But, anyone that's in a business will know that the beginning is hard. Yeah. It's that roller coaster ride that I get back.
Sine wave. We'll talk about math. It's a sine wave, right?
Absolutely. It is a sine wave. And I've gone through the ups and the downs, and I have that, just that drive inside of me. Have I failed on a couple of things? Sure. Who hasn't?
But you're learning from it.
Yeah, I'm learning from it. I'm trying not to do the same mistakes. Some of them were very costly, unfortunately. And, it's taken me a long time to actually acknowledge it. because I ignored it for a long time and I tried to cover it up and fix it and fix it and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you need to know that fixing it just makes more of a problem. You can't put a Band-Aid on it, and then that's what I'm going through. And I said now 2019 is going to be different. I'm going to change my focus.
So you mentioned a couple challenges that you're facing. Obviously, contractors, and I think contractors are. It's a needed business, and it's one of those skill trades that they have such a high demand. But I think where they can fix their business, I have a friend who he only works with contractors and their marketing, is their response rate and how fast they respond. I don't think they're such small operations most of the time until they start to scale that they really can't handle the pressures of you calling, hey, where are you at the house? Well, I have another job I'm working on. They're paying me more and I have to go there or there,
Exactly what happened.
I think that's where they need assistance in helping that scaling process and how to scale out, right? And how to train a foreman to run a job site when they're not there, right? So that they can be in two spots at once.
Right.
And, potentially work on two different houses for you at the same time and then turn that house over that much faster, right?
Right.
Or we're done with job one. Let's get the whole crew over at Morrison's project and bang it out real quick, right? Because that time is money, right? Because you're paying them for, let's say a flat fee. Let's just use round numbers. Let's say $100K to refurb a house, and if they can get it done in 3 months, they can do another job in the other 3 months rather than the 6 months they're dragging it out for, So
unfortunately, these contractors don't have that concept. They just, like you said in the beginning, they jump. Oh, this is more money. Okay, I'm going to leave. I'll forget her job for a couple weeks. And, I was new at this whole construction thing. And, I rely on people to have that experience. I'm going to hire an electrician because he's experienced in the electrical work. That's not my experience. You want to hire people that are strong in those trades, right?
Whenever you start a business, you should always do that. 100%.
Yeah.
If you don't have the skill set, listen, I'm not an accountant. I hire an accountant.
Correct. Right. I'm not an attorney. I can't, read these legal things. I'm going to have my attorney do that, and that's part of the business. Unfortunately, I trusted too many people because I was new and a little bit naive, thinking that, oh, okay, they can handle this. Well, obviously they couldn't. So it turned into babysitting. And then it was, because I'm a woman, it's, I'm the bitch, or I'm bitching at them.
Right.
A lot of it, I could tell just from meeting certain trades that it wasn't going to work out.
It's probably better you didn't work with them then. It's probably better you didn't work with them because if they're going to have a preconceived notion of who you are and what you can do. Look, if you look at your journey, just in this short conversation that we've had, you're educated, right? You know how to work with people. If they don't know how to work with people, then they're probably not the right person to work with, right? Because it's like starting your own business. Is it the right culture that you're trying to build, the same mission and the same values and same principles to complete the mission, right? That's ultimately what you want. So contractors, obviously, and tradespeople are your people problem, your challenge as a new flipper or rehabber and rent and hold person. On the process side, what do you think? Because we focus on 3 Ps: people, process, and profits in RTB. And then RTB means to ring the bell. So going out there, and what you're doing every day is you're going out there. So we're going to talk about that later. But on the process side, what would you say is your biggest challenge?
So process, my scheduling. It's crazy. As a teacher, I was so scheduled about planning and scheduling and making sure that these kids knew exactly what their goal was during that classroom. Me, as starting this new business, I don't know what happened. I threw it out the window because I think it was a lot of scrambling. Like, oh my God, I got to do this. Oh my God, I got to do that. And that's still my challenge. Like every day I wake up and I try to get up earlier and earlier. I'm not an early riser, but I have to get up.
You lack discipline.
No, I'm not. I mean, I got your text, I think 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's really impressive. But I got to get better at that. And, I'm up at 6 every morning because my kids got to get ready for school and all that. So my schedule in the morning is about the kids. But then, once they're gone, it's 8:30, 9 o'clock. My day is like almost over because I promised my kids that I would be done my day by 3:30 when they're home, because then I got to be a mom. So I got to be a boss during the day, and then I got to be a mom, in the afternoon. So I got to balance all that. And I got to do something for myself.
100%.
So that's the hardest part is like I wake up and shower, whatever. I put on yoga pants and my workout clothes because I know sometime during the day I'm going to go to the gym.
Right.
Does it end up happening? No.
So I do a little different. I get up earlier before even this, like 4:30, and I work out and I start banging out stuff so I can get ahead of stuff because the company I'm consulting for and other companies are overseas and they're in different time zones. So I'm trying to get as much stuff as I possibly can get done before the kids get up. And the kids get up around 7. Then my wife and I tackle the kids to get them out the door for school. And
Right.
but they're younger, so they're not going to middle school and getting on the bus at 7:30. But then after that, at 8:30, I come to my office and I start banging out again. Right. So I mean, that for me has been a discipline thing where I have to get up because if I don't do it now, I can't do it in the afternoon because when the kids come home, exactly what you're talking about, we have sports, we have meetings, we have other stuff going on, networking events, whatever. And you have to balance it and you have to have that quality of life. So on the process side, scheduling your days and understanding where to fit everything in. So, a possible solution there would be, and I know it's hard because when people aren't trained, and I'm trained from the military getting up early, but is taking 15 minutes off your clock every day or at least once a week, right? So you said you set your alarm at 6. So next week, set it for 5:45 and get up at 5:45 and just maybe meditate for 15, whatever, or do an email or, get on top of social media or whatever that you have in your process, but start building out a process so that you can tackle the day on your terms, right? So in rugby, we use take on contact onto your terms. So when you go into a tackle, if I'm playing against you, Chrissy, and you're tackling me, I want to take you on my terms, not on your terms. So I'm going to get hurt, right? And the same thing in the military. If I'm going to attack somebody, I want to attack them on my terms, right? In business, the same thing. If I'm going to attack a problem or a property, I'm going to use you as an example, it's under your terms, right? When you negotiate, it's your terms, right? You have a price in mind. You need to make that number, and you have to present and offer the value to the customer that it's going to be worth its worth. So attacking it on your terms is what I'm getting at. So starting out earlier and each week by week, building up that discipline to get up earlier and going to bed earlier. That's hard for a lot of people well, I'll be fine. I'll go to bed at 11. I'll watch this show. No. And then taking TV out of your life is a big thing too.
Right. Yeah.
So.
My kids go to bed now at like 9:30 and we had them in bed by like 8:30. So Phil and I would have some time together, an hour or something. Now it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock. We're both snoozing on the couch. It's like, if we're that
catching flies.
Our ass is up to bed, it's like and it happens every night. So yeah, the discipline is what I'm lacking is the discipline because it's like, oh, I'm free to do whatever I want now that I'm not. And I think that's what I did. I think I just figured it out too. It's like, I was so in that classroom for so long and, I couldn't leave that now that I went off on my own, I'm like, oh, I'm free to do whatever I want. So forget the schedules, forget the discipline, forget that. But that's not benefiting my business and my motivation to be successful, that's killing me. So that is something that I need to do for 2019.
So the coaching that I do, that's one of the things I work on is the discipline because it's hard. And some people are like, I'll just get up at 4:30 in the morning like you. I'm like, no, man, you can't. You can't do that overnight. You can't just turn a switch. You got to train yourself. It's incremental steps. Like you don't run a marathon in one jump. It's a lot of training to get there. You don't fight, you just don't start fighting tomorrow. Hey, I'm going to spar with Mike Tyson. You're going to die, so incremental steps, right? Those little baby steps, 15 minutes will add up, and you'll start feeling it, but you'll get used to it too. So do it a week at a time, and roll it back another 15 minutes. Next thing you know, it's 4:00 in the morning, and you're like, okay, let's do this. I'm ready to hit the day, like. So
let me ask you this: by 3:00, are you like snoozing?
Sometimes I'll take a 20-minute power nap in the afternoon. And literally I'll time it 20 minutes, because anything beyond that, your body starts to fall into like a deeper sleep, and then you become really lag. But I'm also trained to do this where, you'd be in the field and like, all right, we're going to stand here for 20 minutes and take a quick water break and, whatever. And you fall down and go to sleep literally like that. And then they get up on your feet. Okay, let's go. And we'd start moving, and you'd be recharged. And literally 20 minutes for me can make me run another 8 hours, no problem.
Huh.
So a little cat nap like that. I mean, and they say if you put your feet up, another reason why I don't have the couch here just to sleep on, I put my feet up on it for 20 minutes, because the blood coming back to your heart, it doesn't have to pump as hard, so you actually fall asleep faster. And I don't know. So, or you just meditate, 5 minutes of meditation in the afternoon too helps, because it helps relax your brain.
I have started meditating too. Phil is
a lot of apps for it, really easy to do, mindfulness. But the other thing that I do is every 50 minutes I'll get out of my seat and do something physical, 20 push-ups, squats or whatever, because if you sit in a seat all day, your back's going to hurt, number one. Keep your core upright all day, you're going to get worn out. So that's another opportunity there for a little self-improvement along the way. But
I like that.
So the third P on the profit side, obviously you were talking about cash flow, and we're going to go into that more, but do you think that's one of your biggest challenges right now as a small business entrepreneur who's doing the flip and hold, or flip and sell, or buy and hold real estate game, and people wanting to get into that? Cash flow, number one, right? So, I think that's probably it, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, like I said before, when you're flipping these houses, you don't make any money. And if you even make the money when you sell the property too, I mean, because here's the thing, if you're holding it for too long, like I went through 5 contractors on one house. Mm-hmm. I went over budget, because once you hire one contractor and another guy's got to come in to, fix his mess, and another guy, it costs more money, and I always say, well, I only have this much. This is all we can do it for. I can't pick money off the trees to, fix this house. So that's another issue. I also have Phil in some of my properties doing the work, and listen, he doesn't have the time to do it either. I'm like, hey, hon, I need you to put up some rods, and can you pour some concrete? Well, the other day, it's funny, he goes, I'm going to teach you how to pour concrete. I'm like, all right. So, I was pouring concrete, I was putting up insulation, I was painting, I was sanding, doing everything to try to get it on the market, because the holding costs have been killing us. So the rentals are great. They're doing well. We have everybody in the units that we have. Great. Multifamilies are always, the best thing to have. And that's what we have, because one side always pays for the mortgage and the other side is out of our pocket. We got this office now for me, and upstairs is paying for the office, which is great. Awesome. My next thing is coaching, or, I started a blog, but, my scheduling's awful. So I don't write as much on the blog that I would like to, that I named High Heels to Hard Hats. So high heels I wore every day, as a teacher. And
we're going to put that in the post as well, just so people can find it.
Yeah, they can find it. There's only a few sections. Like I have to go back now and write, my experiences over the past year that I haven't had a chance, but I have it written down in like a journal.
So what's easier for you, writing or speaking like you are right now? What's easier for you to document?
I like the interaction.
So
I really do. Like online. So, in the beginning, I used to do a lot of social media where it'd be like Facebook Live, and I would be at a project. I'm like, yeah, it's demo day. But this past year has been like a really difficult year for my business. So I kind of haven't been showing that. And when I look back and I'm like, you know what, I probably should have showed it more, because
You need to document what you're
people
doing,
think,
because nobody,
yeah,
like, nobody's life is perfect. Nobody's life is perfect. And they need to see
exactly.
that you're not, you know, you see a lot of people on the socials who are like, oh, I got a Lamborghini today. Great. Is
Yeah,
that yours or do you rent it? Like, I think there's got to be
right,
some
right,
truth here. And I am an upfront, and just like Phil and I, so full disclosure, I know Chrissy through her husband, Phil. We worked together and, in medical device sales for years. And, we're very much upfront, in your face people. I have a problem with you, I will tell you. If you have a problem with me, I expect you to tell me, and I will take the feedback and absorb it and say, okay, this is how I learn. And I
right,
think that's what people need to do, is document and say, hey, listen, life isn't perfect. You're going to
right.
get punched in the face. And it's how, I hate to quote Rocky. I'm a big Rocky fan, but it's how you get back up, right?
Right.
Can you take a punch and keep getting back up, right? Life's not
Absolutely.
easy.
Yeah, and that's my next thing, is my journey to share that, because I guess maybe it was the shame, like I was embarrassed that it was happening,
Mhm.
but people need to know. I mean,
Who
there's so
cares?
many
Do you
people
care what
out
other
there.
people think? Do you care what other people think?
No,
No.
at this point, I mean, I did. Um, I've 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 learned over the years, like, nobody gives a shit about me,
Mhm.
so why should I give a shit about what they think? I
Exactly.
mean, the only people that I care about is my family.
Yep.
My family. I want to make my family proud. I want to, have that financial freedom for my family so we can go on trips
Mhm.
instead of working day and night, trying to fix these flips. And it's just not where I want to be anymore. I want to go out there and explore financially. The rentals are doing okay. I want to get more of them. I want to do the coaching, make some money off the coaching, but also just help other people. Don't get into the same mess that I got into,
And
you
that's
know?
exactly why I started this business,
Um,
was to help other people, right? I mean, I
yeah,
I say it all the time. I was a medic in the Army, and for me, it's still deep down inside, buried in there. Like, you need to help other people, right? You have the skills.
yeah,
People came to me for advice for years, and I'm like, you know what? Now it's time to maybe monetize it a little bit, right? So I do the
right,
coaching, I do the consulting, and the same thing. So, you know, I love helping people, and I love the smile on their face when they see it turn. Like before, when you were like, "That's a good advice about getting up." Like, I love that feeling when you can get
yeah,
value from what I'm
so,
giving out, because I'm disciplined, because I've been doing this for years. Now I can teach other people how to do it. And as a medic, you're always
right,
teaching people, right? You have to teach standard life care, right, or basic first aid to other people who don't know how to do it. So
right. I mean, I was a teacher for 12 years,
it's
and the kids that I
ingrained in
like to teach were the ones that were, oh, the problem child, I didn't want to teach the advanced courses. I wanted the lower level courses because I knew when they did well on a test, it's because of me.
you. Hmm.
That was the fulfillment that I got, because as a teacher, no one tells you, hey, you were my favorite teacher ever. And, oh, they come in with gifts. That doesn't happen.
That's
It
far into
doesn't
your
happen.
routine, right? Yeah, yeah.
Right. But I would come home and I'd be like, oh my God, hon, this kid today, uh, can we add an addition to the house so we can take them in? Like, I have that emotional part of me. Sometimes it's bad though. I get too emotional sometimes, but I want to help people. So, people helped me get into this business, and I kind of want to return it because they helped me be successful in 2017. 2018, I went on my own and did some stupid stuff, and shit happens, right?
Yeah.
Learned a lot, and I want to teach people now. Don't do what I did. Um, have thicker skin. I grew up. I'm a third daughter. I was a baby, 8 and 9 years younger than my sisters, and I would watch football with my dad every weekend. And my dad and I would throw the football outside of the house. I became the tomboy of the family. So I had that drive and determination. Oh yeah, I'm a woman, but I don't really care. I could do what a man can do too.
Yeah.
So that was the mentality that I grew up with. My dad is from Greece. He came here with nothing. He built a business himself. So entrepreneurship comes in my family. It's embedded in me.
Same in mine. Very similar background. My mom is from Central America. My dad, grew up a poor kid on Long Island, of
Yeah,
Italian immigrants. So for us, it's, work hard or you get nothing in life, and that's really how it is. So,
Yeah, my parents are my biggest supporters financially too. They invest in my company too, and they are my cheerleaders.
yeah,
And it's great to have. My dad's like, it's okay. When I had my business, we didn't do well. He sold cars. He started a car dealership, and somebody wanted to buy it, and he ended up going almost to bankruptcy over a deal, and he ended up not selling it, and he went through a financial downfall like I am right now, and he got back up and he got himself out of it, and it's nice to have that person to go back to and be like, Dad, what am I doing wrong? Like, help me out here. Like, I need some strength.
yeah,
Like, what
yeah.
do you do?
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to have them too. And out of my sisters, my middle sister also opened up a store in Wildwood, New Jersey. She has a restaurant. She has that entrepreneurship too. My other sister is a teacher, so it's like I got a little bit of my
Both. Yeah,
sisters
yeah,
in
yeah,
me.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So that's obviously what
but I'm
helps. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Say but I'm also unique in my own way.
Of course.
But go ahead. What were we gonna
No,
say?
I was going to say that obviously that answers my last question, which what helps you ring the bell every day and go after it? It's your family, right? And you're self motivated through not only and I'm not trying to be pocket psychologist here, but living up to your father and your sister and their influence and really showing them, hey, listen, I can cut my own path to the jungle. I don't need you and your machete. I can do it myself, right? Um, and
Yeah.
I love that, and that's why I kind of dedicated these first few episodes of the new year to female entrepreneurship, because I think it shows that, number one, there's a great book I read by Joanne Littman last year called "That's What She Said," and it's about basically women empowerment and how they have to deal with so many more outliers in business and in life than male counterparts. And it's a stigma that's been around for a long time. For example, um, when you were a teacher, they didn't bust your chops about going on maternity leave. But if you were like, because they might have actually, because they said, well, I need to find a sub now for the rest of the year for when you go on maternity leave. Where for men, they don't care about that. But for you, it's an issue. And I understand it's part of life, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be at all. Right? There should be, anyway, it's a great book. And so that goes into my next point is, what books would you recommend, or kind of research would you recommend for people to, if they wanted to get in this business, read and go after?
So I read a couple books that I have in mind is Traction was a good book.
By who?
I can't think of the name. Let me say, I have it on my an Audible. I do Audible a lot because as I'm driving around in my properties, I listen to podcasts. I listen to books. I'm not a big. Uh-oh. Can you still hear me?
I can. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that.
I'll look it up. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I'm not a big reader. I never was a big reader. Obviously, I was a math major. Numbers to me. Yeah. So I read a lot of books. There's also a lady, I'm a badass at making money. Okay. And that's Jen Sincere, I think. Yeah, she's good. She is hilarious too, because I like a little comic too. Yeah. So I'm a bit of like, I have a little sarcasm. I can be a little too sarcastic sometimes and not enough seriousness, because I just think, you need a little humor in your life,
100%.
I love Tony Robbins.
Okay.
So anything
which Tony Robbins book
has,
would you recommend for someone who's
real estate? I like Tim Ferriss.
Okay.
Tim Ferriss is good. I started listening to, and I'm all over the place. Is it Cardone?
Yeah. Grant Cardone? I lost you. Chrissy.